Bingo,
All right,
bingo.
all right. October 28th, 3 days before All Hallows Eve. How are you, Bobby?
I feel great, man. I got to tell you, I just keep feeling better and better, and I don't even know what I'm doing wrong or right.
Is it the candy corn you're eating, or is it the circus peanuts?
I got to tell you something.
What's your favorite candy?
This is the second place. No, the first place we've lived in Bend that we've had zero trick-or-treaters now in 3 years. And I love trick-or-treaters, right? And where I moved from in Chicagoland, again, very little trick-or-treating because the houses were on like 2-acre lots, so no kid was going to walk, You go to the high-density neighborhoods. And the neighborhood I'm in now is getting younger, but maybe there'll be some trick-or-treaters. In fact, we should maybe put a prop bet out there.
Well, there is no trick-or-treating this year, so nobody.
Yeah, there you go. So
nobody's going to have any.
The prop
Christmas,
bet is,
by the way, Christmas and Thanksgiving have been canceled in California because
they haven't been canceled. They just got the timer. Me and you were talking about this. Thanksgiving to California relegated to 2 hours, and I got to tell you, I've cooked a lot of turkeys. I've done a lot of things.
The plus or minus on when the turkey comes out is longer than 2 hours. Always.
for sure.
Always.
100%. It's like, what are you? You're giving me 2 hours. You expect me to hit that mark? I don't think so, man.
But not only do you have 2 hours to have your 3 households, but it has to be in single use, but not plastic, for God's sake, but single use, disposable, not your fine china. Outside.
They're telling you what you can use?
Yes.
Oh, my God. The world has gone totally fucking crazy. That's all there is to it.
It can't be plastic, though, Bob. So it has to be single-use Pyrex, basically. Bring your
let's
Pyrex.
talk markets. Let's talk markets here. You brought up the VIX. I got the VIX here. CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange futures listing of VIX. I know there's multiple ways to trade it.
Yep.
So therefore, multiple charts. But I want your thoughts on this too, because I find charts like this particularly intriguing because it's a weekly chart and we're here on Wednesday. So a lot of time left on the chart. Right now, fully pushing through that weekly collar.
We broke out.
Like
38.20 was the
collar
high.
Comes in. It's trading 38.47. So through it for sure.
Yeah, we went through it. We traded all the way up to 40.40, so a full $2 above the old high that we set in early September.
And so I just want to point this out from a standard deviation modeling perspective. If you look at the last time on my chart, the last time it went parabolic, which was the first COVID panic, it pressed into the collar, but importantly, it closed with a big green candle pressing that collar. And since we have 2 days left, very important for me to see where this thing closes on Friday for further panic. In other words, it presses into the collar and it comes right back off and closes the week back down around 30. That's a completely different setup on the weekly candle and standard deviation modeling than if we close it up here into the collar.
Right. As always, the daily close is more important than any price during the day. And the weekly close is also more important than any day or time in the week. And the monthly close is more important than the weekly. We talk about this all the time. And these things have a hierarchy, right? And so a weekly close is going to be very important. And the interesting thing, I think I did a video on this last night on the VIX, and I was using it and kind of talking about kind of what we saw back in the November 16 election, right? Because everybody's talking for whatever reason. I know exactly why. Futures traders are talking because that night the SPOOs went crazy, right? They crashed, and then at 6 p.m. Pacific, I called the bottom before anybody said Trump would win. I'm like, Trump won. The market knows it started going up sharply. It was over. They were saying Hillary, 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 yet they won. The other thing, and you can bring this up, if you check you can show us here on the chart. I showed you a tweet that had the final betting markets the eve of, the week of the 2016 elections. And
Right.
if you can't bring it up here real quick, I did send it to you, but for our viewers, it basically said 88% of the betting markets supposedly were on Hillary, 12 or 11 or 12 were on Trump, and the rest was throwaways, right? So that being said, the market didn't really do much volatility wise. The VIX didn't really spike that much. It's and I talked about this, it's nowhere near even where it is today. So the VIX at 40 today is already much higher than it even saw on election month, right? We didn't even get near that price. So people are talking about volatility is already through the roof. Well, it already is here. So again, the masses are asses, whether it's the polls that tell us, whether it's, everybody's long Apple, which they were when Apple came out with their new product 2 weeks ago, 127, today 111. This repeats over and over. And if we can, enlighten any of our viewers to this theme that comes over and over, Bob, the masses can't be right. They never can be right. It's not the way the world works. It can't be. You can only have one Elon Musk. You can only have one Michael Jordan. You can only have one Kobe Bryant, right? You're never going to be, you might be better than him, but most likely you're not going to be as good as.
Well, one thing I can't do is fade away.
Well, when you're 5'10", you have to.
And I ain't 5'10". Maybe in high heels.
All right. So volatility is in play. Today markets, let's look at the SPOOs real quick. They're down huge. You want to throw up a chart? You want me to throw up a chart? You tell me.
Well, there it is. Let me just talk standard deviation modeling first. So the weekly fully taken out that lower momentum level, which it hadn't since the first COVID meltdown. So this first time we're in that territory, below one standard deviation low momentum on the momentum modeling, and room down to 3190 to that weekly collar. Take it away from there. And that's kind of the way, we talk about this if then. So if they close the week below that momentum level, then I think it goes and sniffs out 3190.
Right. I mean, it's possible. I've been, 3,200 continues to be kind of the line in the sand, and I'll try to bring this up here real quickly. The SPOOs, our work suggested 3270 would be seen sometime today. We've gotten pretty close. I mean, we went all the way down here to 3275. This is, again, a multi-month chart. We're looking back through September here. And again, we traded 3,200. So we're not in new price ranges again. We are at the lower end of value. Of course, we're actually below value. So we're starting to, if you're a long-term trader, you're starting to sniff out possible long opportunities when this thing finally settles. It's not necessarily done yet, but again, 3,200, I'd probably be interested in taking a lick. But anything below 3,200 on a close, I'm out. So it's a very low risk opportunity down there, and we're only we're less than 3% from that number. So I do think we will see lower prices into the end of the week. I just think this is kind of now this has become kind of the masses trade, right? Everybody is so bearish. They're praying for volatility on election night. Election night is going to be pretty quiet, I think. I think a lot won't be discerned. There'll be confusion. There'll be. I
actually, Matt, want to take the other side of that.
Good. Yeah.
I want to say that everybody thinks it's 2 months. I think Trump wins by such a landslide that it's clear and present the outcome.
So early, you're saying not only will there will not be confusion, but Trump will actually win something like 320 to 120 on the
and if we tweet this out, maybe that tweet ages badly, but everybody is saying, or a lot of people are saying, we won't know till January. So many people, I've heard that so many times. There's going to be a civil war because the courts are going to have to decide it. All this rhetoric,
right?
And from my silo, I don't see that happening. I think.
And also, along with that rhetoric, last night Philly explodes with a cop killing a crazy man coming at him with a knife, and then they retaliate and loot. They do the whole thing again. Well, hey, it's already law in San Francisco. You can go take $1,000 worth of goods anywhere. I don't know if you saw the video last night. There's a guy, he brought his own dolly and he was walking away with a brand new, dryer and washer. So good for him. Each one of those, if you do one at a time in San Francisco, that's free. You can walk out with a washer and dryer and they can't arrest you. So, for San Franciscans, go get yourself a new washer and then come back for the dryer a little later in the afternoon. No brainer.
That's, especially if it's a Bosch. Have you seen the price tag on those things? A Bosch washer and dryer. Like, I never understood that. Like it's $4,000. I'm like, but the $600 one washes my clothes too, doesn't it?
Right. And then,
all right, let's move on to something else. I haven't even looked today, but what's gold doing in this?
Gold got schmeezed. It was a new 20-day low. It was getting crushed today. So again, here's where I continue to say all assets are one, whether it's gold, whether it's stocks, whether it's your favorite, Bob, and mine. What is it?
Bitcoin. Yeah.
Bitcoin. So let's bring up the Bitcoin chart.
Bitcoin.
We talked about it in the last couple of broadcasts that we would probably run up and test that 13.8. And sure enough, sure as day, ting, 13.8. And since we have reversed, I'm going to show you right here. Here was the high back in June of 19. We ticked it again, and now we've pulled back. Listen, if they can't hold 12.4 again on this side, this thing's going to go back down just like it did last time. And again,
that's your line in the sand.
Well, it's just I don't want to be long it. I don't, I'm not.